Hey listeners, want to share your opinions, give feedback, or tell me and Coach Sarah what you're thinking? Send us a voice message. Voice messages are an easy way for you to send us audio that might end up in a future episode of the Mantra Pod. They're the latest feature from Anchor, the platform we use to make this podcast. You can share a zinger that you hear or a cool phrase that we could use in the Mantra Open, or tell us how a mantra helped you move through a tough moment. We'll see all of your messages, and we might add them into a future episode, because Anchor makes that part easy for us as well. You can send us a voice message right now from wherever you're listening. Just tap the link in my show notes. I can't wait to hear from you. If you're enjoying our podcasts, especially the ones that Coach Sarah does, you can check out the transcripts over at www.coachedandloved.com. All of our existing transcripts are on the blog in the category Podcast Transcripts. Crazy! I know they're totally hidden. Head on over to www.coachedandloved.com. We got all kinds of things to say, and that is where we say them.
Ultramarathons might seem like they're about running a whole lot of miles, but what they're really about is being outside in the middle of the night and grappling with all your inner demons. It's awesome. Hi, this is Coach Sarah, and this is the Morning Mantra.
Hi, my name is MK Fleming. I'm a run coach based in Denver, Colorado. But this isn't a podcast about running exactly. Don't tell my clients, but we're never really talking about the running. When you know a craptastic event is coming, it helps to have a mantra to keep you centered and focused as you move through it. You don't have to be an athlete to be #coached and loved by Coach MK. And if you are here, then you are #winning at life.
Today's mantra is, oh hey. Oh hey. If you spent any time around social media this weekend, particularly my social media, Coach MK's social media, the social media fitness protection, you've probably been getting a lot of updates on a little event in New Jersey called 3 Days at the Fair. We had a tenacious, gritty group of women running a 1-mile paved loop over the course of 24 hours. And despite the hot sun beating down on them all day long, they accomplished incredible things. I'm so proud of all of you. I had planned on going along in order to spectate, cheer, support, give love, and then the logical extension of that was that, well, I should register for the race myself, the 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. race from Saturday night into Sunday morning, so that I could run on the loop with the ultrarunners in their late-stage miles when the going got tough. I would not be there to run an ultramarathon. I would be there, quote-unquote, for fun. Made good enough sense, but as the event got closer, I began to remember that I never run races for fun, and there's a reason for that. I can tell myself all day and night, in this case, all day and night for sure, that I don't care about my results, that I'm just here for the atmosphere, for the triumph of the finish line, for the company, but the truth is, it is never that simple for me. If I show up to a 10K and run a time slower than what I'm capable of, I go rushing back to being the high school kid who couldn't run a single lap around the soccer field for the pre-practice warm-up, to my total embarrassment. Everything since high school has felt like a referendum on my fitness. I am always on some level out to prove to everyone who sort of rolled their eyes and sighed in my general direction back in the day, my soccer coach, my crew coach, my teammates, my parents, that they were wrong about me. So here I was, registered for an event where I was planning on running maybe 13 miles before calling it a night in the company of women who were running 50K, 50 miles, 100K, and even more. This is not about you, I told myself, and yet, as I crossed the start line under a full moon and began my watch, that first loop around the fairgrounds had me thinking, hey, why don't you YOLO a 50K? You really want to be the only runner in this group of women who doesn't run an ultra here at this event? You can pretend it's because you're here for them and not for you, but everyone knows it's because you're the least fit of all of them, Coach Sarah. Whew, ouch, right? Yeah, that was on the first loop. The night is dark and full of terrors. I knew what I knew, though. I knew that the voice in my head was actually wrong. This was not about my fitness, and it never was. In fact, if I had arrived at this event and started running at 9 p.m. when my friends had been running all day in the sun and then made it about somehow competing with them, that would have been fucked up. They had been training for months to achieve this goal, months and months and months. I'm fit. I've been training pretty consistently myself for a long time, but I was not prepared specifically to run for hours and hours and hours like they were. This event was never about me. I was going to have to look at the scoreboard at my piddly looking lap total next to the awe-inspiring numbers coming out of everyone else there and dissociate those numbers from my own fitness and self-worth completely. I suppose the good thing about me now, compared to 20 years ago, is that I know myself pretty well. I knew that part of me would feel lame compared to the badass ultramarathoners out on the course. I knew that I would feel tempted to do something stupid in the name of, I'll show them. I knew those feelings, and I knew there was no avoiding them entirely. Instead, I greeted them. Oh, hey, you again. Over the course of a 1-mile loop that you run over and over again in the middle of the night, it's not like these feelings appear once and say, well, I guess we're done here. They appear, they fade, they appear, they fade. Each time I acknowledge their arrival, oh, hey. I'm telling you this story because I know you know this feeling. I know that this is why, quote-unquote, racing for fun is actually a really complicated thing for some people like me, because they see the numbers, and the numbers are triggering. The mind rushes in to give those numbers a meaning that isn't actually real or helpful, and often with distance running, we do it in the name of, I'll show you. Coach MK likes to say that no one over the age of 20 takes up running because they're happy. A lot of us, whether we've unpacked it or not, are running in part to prove something about ourselves. Not all proving is bad, quite the contrary. But proving yourself slides easily into a territory that is destructive and abusive. It hurts to be dismissed, and that hurt arises for me every time I enter an event. But the people who dismissed me, they're not watching. And holding myself to an impossible standard on a day that isn't about me and isn't going to show them. It isn't going to prove them wrong. And yet, the urge to prove myself to them does not go away. I don't know that it ever will. To quote Myrna Valerio, ultra-runner extraordinaire, I am a beautiful work in progress, and this is my struggle. Don't deny the struggle. Don't abuse yourself further with blame for grappling with these feelings. You shouldn't feel this way. That's stupid. That's the wrong response. And it's not how I responded to myself on Saturday night at 3 days at the fair, as I racked up miles in the single digits. I greeted the struggle. Oh, hey, old friend. I've known you for longer than I've known most people. I talked about it with the women I was running with, and while they were quick to assure me that they did not think I was lame for, not making an incredibly stupid decision, they heard and understood how I was feeling, all the way down to the last lap, which I finished just minutes before the end of the event. The struggle resurfaced again and again. Only 21 laps? How's that gonna look on Strava? Oh, hey, it's you again. You can go now.
You are coached, you are loved, and you are winning at life. And you are definitely winning at life if you subscribe to my Nuzzlenut newsletter, follow me on Facebook, or follow me on Instagram. Feel free to do all three. Kristen and Chill is a comedy podcast that gets real about depression, therapy, and daily struggles. Often irreverent and lighthearted, conversations range from minor social anxiety to mental health and everything that happens in between. Kristen and Chill also covers topics such as having friends with depression, weight gain, suicide prevention, adult bullying, and more. So if you're looking for a more lighthearted take on these things, go check out the show. Search Spotify and wherever else you listen to podcasts to hear more than 80 endearing episodes of Kristen and Chill. You can also join the conversation and find Kristen on Twitter at Kristen Carney. Don't forget, if you need a mantra, you can always ask for one at info@coachedandloved.com. Again, that's email info, INFO, at coachedandloved.com.